Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and Tim Hankewich is back for one final concert for the 24-25 season. This is season extended just a little bit this year into the summer, but the final Pops concert, and boy, sometimes you end your concert with, kind of a cruise. Right. Not this year.
No. Programming 101. Basically, it means you start the season strong, you end the season even stronger. And I think we've got that in spades.
Over the last few years, the orchestra has done a lot of these play-alongs with movies, which is common for orchestras around the country to do this. But you in particular, this kind of become your second job is doing these, because now we're used to do one every couple of years. Now we're doing do two this year, and you have gone around the country as an assistant or a guest conductor do these for other orchestras.
It's a different set of skills than just being a conductor. And so for those of you in the listening audience who don't know quite what we're talking about film with live orchestra. And that means it's not just the orchestra playing the music of a particular film. It's the actual presentation of the film on large screen, and the orchestra plays the musical soundtrack in real time with the film. And the way that works, to sync the music up with the film, the music director, in this case me, I have a monitor of my own, a video screen of my own, and it gives me a lot of information, such as when to start the music, when to end the music, what's the tempo, what measure I should be in at any given time, what beat in the measure I should be in at any given time, so that the music is absolutely in sync with the film. And so after a while, if we've done our job well, you'll forget that we're even there. You'll just notice that the music perhaps is a little bit more forward than you would hear in a movie theater.
This is particularly unique, because you're doing Field of Dreams at the ballpark. I'm sure most people listening are aware of that, because your marketing has been great for this, and it's been something that we've been talking about all year long. But so not only are you outdoors and having to do this sync, but I'm guessing that the physical distance between from the orchestra to the screen to the audience. And you're going to be on the Jumbotron. I mean, that's going to create some delay that you're going to have to account for.
You're absolutely right. One of the dangers of this is making it look like a spaghetti western, where the dialogue doesn't really fit up with the lip movement. Yes, so there will be two different feeds. One that's going from the orchestra and my particular video screen, so that I'm in absolute time with the film. And the actual Jumbotron will be a different feed that will be delayed by a microsecond, because sound travels slower than obviously light does. And so we have to make sure that the people who are sitting in the bleachers has the sound completely synced up with the film. So that is an extra sort of challenge that most performances do not have, because these are designed for theater performances. And in fact, in that regard, I'm really proud of this, because not every film has been produced in a way for this kind of performance.
They call it a mix minus.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Track that pulls the orchestra out.
Right, and there's a lot of work that goes into preparing the materials. And Field of Dreams was offered as a possibility for the first time a year and a half ago. And the moment I found that out, I said, hey, we're Orchestra Iowa. We need to be in front of this, and we need to be the first in the state to do it. And here we are a year and a half later. And yes, we are debuting the concert performance of Field of Dreams, the first in Iowa. But it gets even better, because I came up with the idea thinking that instead of a theater, why don't we do it at Veterans Memorial Stadium? And so we partnered up with the Colonels. And when we proposed this to the licensing company that owns Field of Dreams, we broke their brains, because they did not think of this in a million years, because they were just so focused on theater performances. And so there was a lot of going back and forth, and finally they said, oh, God, this is a really great idea. And so we're the first in the nation to do this in a ballpark. And I can tell you, I'm totally confident that within a year, 2 years, every orchestra in the country will be doing this.
This is going to be a thing, and Tim will be conducting it at many of these ballparks.
and so
you're going to be doing this all summer long.
Yeah, well, I can certainly think of worse things.
Remember when you used to have summers off? Now you're going to be traveling the continental United States conducting this.
I will take it.
Every AAA park in the country.
So literally, the eyes of the nation and our industry will be looking at us. And so that's why I'm hoping that Cedar Rapids represents itself really well, and we can fill those bleachers, because this is a business model for a lot of orchestras to follow.
What a cool idea. What a natural. I mean, after you say it, well, we're going to do it at the ballpark.
Well, yeah.
Duh.
Exactly. But it was so funny. The original reaction from the company's called IMG when we proposed it to this. It's just like, yeah, what? you want to do what? And so this delay that we just talked about, how do you sync up the
Well, I was going to
Jumbotron?
ask, are you just doing math, or are you going to do a rehearsal and kind of try and figure? You're going to put Ed Carr up in the top level of the bleachers?
Pretty much. Yeah. So we only have 2 rehearsals for this production, and it comes together pretty quickly, especially with professional musicians. For example, our first rehearsal is tonight, and then tomorrow night, Friday night, we're going to be in the stadium, and we're going to be working out all the technical bugs. And by that time, when Saturday comes around, we'll have all that figured out, all the timing. So the audience won't even know all the effort that we had to put in to
It'll
fix
just
the timing.
work.
It will just work. But there are other components to this evening. The performance is at 7, but I hope people come early with their kids, because at 6 o'clock the gates open and we have a musical petting zoo where kids can, play instruments and they can crawl around all sorts of musical themed things and have a lot of fun doing so. We have the movie, and then right afterwards, fireworks, because you can't end a concert at the ballpark without fireworks. So it'll be a great evening for the whole family.
Is there a game that afternoon, too?
There is not. This is an away game. When we first started talking to Scott Wilson, who's the general manager of the Colonels, we were looking for an away game because the setup and teardown is so massive.
I have been at past concerts you've done at the ballpark, and
the turnaround
is hard.
Turnaround is really hard. So we were looking for an away game, and we were actually gunning for Father's Day, and that didn't quite pan out for us. But hey, I'll take it because this weekend looks great.
The weather is going to be perfect.
Oh my God,
so should be able to take that out of the equation. So that's fortunate.
Yes, absolutely. And when we used to do our season at Brucemore, for example, I mean, I would be an absolute wreck for a week and a half looking at weather forecasts. And so knowing that this weekend is looking really good, this is just an ideal time to come to hear the symphony.
Field of Dreams, Orchestra, and live movie coming up Saturday night, the 7th at Colonel's Stadium. You said gates open at 6?
Gates open at 6. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to the Colonel's organization and Scott Wilson, who've just been absolutely brilliant to work with. So come at 6. The film with live music in the orchestra begins at 7, and fireworks to follow.
And, of course, that wraps up the season.
Well, there's actually one thing I'm really, really proud of. The Colonels have named a sandwich after me in honor of my 20th anniversary starting next year, and it's called the Hankewich. And it is a plate full of goodness and heart-cloggingly goodness with a side of angioplasty. When he said, I want to design a burger for you, and I said, well, I'm Iowan, I'm Canadian, and I'm Ukrainian. What can we do about that? And we came up with a sandwich that is a breaded tenderloin, that's the Iowan.
Okay.
Canadian bacon.
Of course.
Right? And then a pierogi. And basically what that is kind of a ravioli-like thing. It's a dough pocket filled with mashed potatoes and cheese. It's really good. A little bit of provolone and a garlic aioli for a little bit of zip, and then smothered in beef gravy to give it that poutine flavor. And man, what a mess on the face and your lap. Oh my God, is it good? Yeah, so if not just for the Field of Dreams and the fireworks, come for the Hankewich. You're going to love it.
That's what I always say. Come for the Hankewich.
Of course.
So speaking of Tim's 20th, this wraps up this season, and of course next season is your 20th anniversary, and I know that you've been working on the program for this, specifically things that, favorites, things you always wanted to do, things you love to do. So just real quick, give me one highlight that you're especially excited about for next year.
Well, you give me an inch, I'll take a mile. I'll give you 3.
Okay.
One is The Nightmare Before Christmas, where we get to do this with film.
Another film with live music.
And that's great. And that's going to be on the 1st of November, so we get both the Halloween and the Christmas crowd. It's perfect timing. I'm also looking forward to the Mozart C minor Mass. I'm a choral guy at heart, and this has been one of my all-time favorite pieces that I've never got to perform before. And then we end our season with Mahler's 6th Symphony. Now, for those of you in the listening audience who don't know what I'm talking about, Mahler is a kind of composer who writes for just massive orchestra. I mean, it's kind of great for the ego, but it's more than that. It is so beautifully and well written for every instrument. Musicians from 4 states away will come crawling on their hands and knees over broken glass to play this music because it's so rarely done. And it's a piece that I've never done before. And so that's really what keeps my sights going.
Tim's 20th comes up next season. Season subscriptions are on sale, of course.
Right.
And I guess as long as we're mentioning, it's a season ender for First Friday Jazz.
Oh, my God.
Tomorrow night, too. So definitely a busy weekend for the orchestra.
Kevin Burt doing a double.
Yeah, doing 2 shows because the first one sold out before tickets had even gone on sale somehow.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing.
It was almost like those bots had bought up all the tickets, but it wasn't. It was actual people who had bought up all the tickets. So the regular show at 5 o'clock, which is pretty much sold out, but you can listen on the radio live, and then a second show at 8:30.
Come on and hear some great live music.
Yep.
Kevin, it doesn't get any better than that.
OrchestraIowa.org or artsiowa.com for more information about any of this. We'll see you at the ballpark.
Yeah, absolutely. Is this heaven? No, it's Iowa. It's Orchestra Iowa.
Thanks, Tim. You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.